Oh!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Regrettable Reviews. It's my pick this week, so I get to lead the show.
Whoop whoop. Yeah.
I am regrettably Bridget, here with...
Regrettably Arthur.
And we are talking about Dune. Not the most recent one that you're thinking of. The David Lynch Dune from 1984.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. Let me start that.
I brought my copy of Dune with me. I've read all 7 of the original Frank Herbert books.
There's 7?
Yes.
Not bad. Not bad for... Okay, so I'm going to burn some sci-fi cred real quick. I have never read or watched any Dune. Now, I understand conceptually many of the things in it, just by the nature of it being Dune.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
talked
about. It's been referenced. It's been the inspiration for movies and TV shows and books.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like Lord of the Rings. If you're looking at fantasy, you're going to see comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way around it.
No, absolutely not.
So this is my first Dune.
I don't know how I feel about that as a person whose first Dune was the book.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I didn't know it was based on a book, I would have hated a lot of it. Because it, on screen to me, the way that they talk internally to themselves, to me, that's like, it reads like a page. Like they couldn't find a way to convey Paul thought.
And and here's the thing. As much as I have established myself as a massive David Lynch fangirl here on this network, I don't think this is not above criticism for me.
Good. Yeah.
It most certainly is not. But I don't a lot of people make this out, like, you hear this pop up on lists of like, oh, disastrously bad like sci-fi movies or whatever.
Yeah, I wanted this thing to be just garbage, and it definitely was not.
Doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
It is nowhere near as unwatchably bad as a certain subset of people have taken to making it out to be.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, the movie is partially carried at the time, not by, they weren't, you know, as prolific as they are today, but they were still not unknown. But the stars of this movie just
stacked cast.
Fucking carry this. I mean, you've got Patrick Stewart, Max von Sydow, Jorgen Prochnow,
Brad Dourif.
I'm sure I know that name.
He was Chucky.
Yes. That's I was going to mention. I couldn't remember his name, but I was going to say the guy that played Chucky, the guy that plays Sam in Quantum Leap.
I haven't seen Quantum Leap.
Okay, it's a show. Guy gets stuck in a time travel machine where he has to go live in people's bodies and correct a wrong thing that happened in their life to fix the timeline.
Cool.
It's supposed to be something he could do once, but then he gets stuck in it, and so he can't leave the timeline that he's in until he fixes it for them. Then he jumps to the next person.
Fascinating.
It's like Sliders, but instead of going to the wrong planet, he's going to different people. I've never seen Sliders. Yeah, I know.
No, sorry.
That one I wasn't even going to judge you for. Like, a lot of people didn't see Sliders. I loved Sliders.
I'll do some Googling later.
Alternate universe.
Not that I love it as a stylistic choice. The opening monologue is almost necessary because Dune requires so much fucking exposition.
Right. So this postdates the crawl. The crawl existed. And
yes.
It's right in the time when it was wall of text instead of a crawl. But they opted to go with a monologue, which, for the weight of the world, like the depth of it, you really need something. there has to be an exposition.
Yeah.
And how would we have
There's
gotten
just too much.
it? Yeah.
There's
Now,
so much detail.
they could have done it slower and built it up over time, but that still would have felt rushed.
Yes.
But they could have cut out a lot of this stuff where we're just
And a lot of the
getting
things
planets.
that I do, a lot of the criticisms that I find for this movie, I'm wondering if those are the things, maybe some of the things that David Lynch didn't want.
My understanding was that there was nothing he didn't like. There was just other things he also wanted to do in addition.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong about that. That was from what I was reading up on. That's what I thought. But the sets, I mean, look at this.
Oh my God, I know.
For what,
Like,
1984, right? This came out?
yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. It's a practical effects. Everything is so gorgeous, so well built.
Fantastic. The miniatures are great.
You would think this was, you know, the 5th film in a very successful sci-fi series with how much love and attention they gave to the costuming, the sets.
No, it's fantastic.
I'm sure some of it's recycled, but
it has been, I will, full disclosure, it has been a hot minute since my OG reading of Dune, so I'm not like super up on the lore.
Okay.
So I may forget some things if any like real Dune nerds are watching. I'm sorry.
We do our best.
Also, going back to the credits for just a second, you've got Toto and you've got Brian Eno. Like, people had, like, again, this is always talked about as such a massive bomb, but people had to have had faith in this when it was pitched to them because they pulled some names.
Is it music composed and performed by Toto? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Again, I think that it's a shame that everyone knows Toto for Africa anyway, because it's by far not their best song. Hold the Line is infinitely better. But also they have the street cred of, oh yeah, we did Dune. And still people only want to talk about Africa?
Yeah.
God damn it. Give Toto the respect they deserve.
Couple little critiques as far as book accuracy. One, the Emperor should look younger because of the spice.
Oh, does it keep you young?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it mutated you. I thought that was the whole thing they talk about. That's how these guys became not human anymore.
The Guild Navigator puppet in this, which we will be getting to momentarily, is fucking awesome.
Oh, the creature.
Although they're technically supposed to look way more human in the book, but this is so much more interesting to look at, and that's what, like, that's our medium. Our medium is film here.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand them going with a not book accurate, but much more interesting to look at design. So that, like, doesn't detract from the viewing experience for me at all.
So what are they supposed to look like from the book perspective?
They're a lot more human looking, but, like, they're, like, hands and feet are webbed, things like that. There are some little differences.
But humanoid, for sure.
Humanoid.
As opposed to this giant slug creature.
Yeah.
Which... it's not really a ripoff of anything.
No, I don't think it is.
But it's giving Starship Troopers brain bug vibe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying they ripped this off, by the way. Like, obviously, because they came later. But yeah, I kind of think it looks like that, the brain bug.
I can see it.
They're just vacuuming up the liquid that around.
That's one of the things. Like, that's so Lynchian to me.
It's an attention to detail. Like, you wouldn't have noticed if they didn't do it, and if there was no liquid on the floor when it slid out, nothing. But now you're just left asking, what is that?
Yeah.
And why are they doing it? Why do they care? Yeah. No, this movie, I'm going to tell you right now, it took me 3 days to watch it because it plays like an audiobook with pictures. It's very slow, it's very monotone, it's very it's very I hesitate to use the word boring, but like unexciting. Most of it is so unexciting. I fell asleep so often. That's why it took me 3 days. I had to keep backing it up. I'd be like, oh, I've watched about half an hour.
Come on.
I'm not even kidding you. I wasn't particularly tired. I just was like watching it. And then I'd be like, oh, I don't know what happened. I have to back up.
I don't think it's monotone.
It literally, if I put this on an equalizer and found out like the change in volumes and the change in keys, it would be minimal.
Oh, well then, I don't know.
This thing is like just drones.
And maybe this is just indicative of the Lynch enjoyer in me. I enjoy the drone.
That's monotone. That's the point. It's like, it's audibly monotone. I'm not saying like there's no depth to the actual content. I'm saying the audio is very monotonous. Ba 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 ba. All at the same level. You hear somebody yells like 4 times in the movie.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Nobody ever raises their voice. Nobody ever whispers, unless it's when they're thinking to themselves. It's just them whispering.
Mm-hmm.
But because they want to make sure you hear it clearly, it's at the same volume.
Freaky ass puppet.
Yeah, that puppet is great. I love the costuming. Again, overall, I like the movie. It makes me not want to watch the new one because I'm worried that this was 2 hours and 18 minutes in one movie to cover the entire story. How do they get 2 movies out of it?
Because there genuinely is that fucking
Well, now
much.
that I know there's 7 books, I feel better. I really thought Dune was 1 book.
No, because there genuinely is that fucking much.
I'm back in knowing there's 7 books, but I thought it was going to be like The Hobbit, where The Hobbit is a beautiful, short, simple story, and then you stretch it into 3 movies, and now I want to murder all of the Tolkiens.
No, I will absolutely 100% agree that this movie does rely a little too heavily on voiceover, but I feel like it's such an easy mistake to make when adapting this source material because of how it's in omniscient third person, so you know everything about every character, including what this guy doesn't know about this guy and this guy. So like,
no, 3PO is a great book style.
Yeah, and like I feel like the constant voiceover narration is the attempt to make a film in omniscient third person,
right?
In the same way that the book is.
I get that, but most people, when they're doing that, taking a book that's that third person omniscient, they just find a different way to convey. You have actual conversations,
and that's the thing. I think that is one of the flaws of this movie, is that it falls into a trap of like such an easy trap to fall into,
trying to stay so true to the source material that you don't want to change the verbal dialogue.
Yeah,
because what they should be doing is you should learn his thoughts because he should act them out and do things based on those thoughts.
Exactly. I will say, I think Kyle MacLachlan was a fantastic choice for Paul Atreides because he's like a huge nerd for the books. Like,
is he?
From before it was adapted.
That means he'll stay truer to it, which is nice.
And also, just insane face card. Never declines.
What do you mean?
Kyle MacLachlan, he's so cute.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Never declines card. Gotcha. You're treating his face like an ATM card. I understand now. I don't know.
Hey, old man.
I've never heard someone say that before.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know that I know anything else he's been in ever.
Boy, you don't know Twin Peaks?
I've never seen. We've been over this.
How I Met Your Mother?
Oh yeah, he's the captain in How I Met Your Mother. I know that.
Oh, he was the mayor in Portlandia.
Never seen that either. I'm over here just like looking at his IMDb like you exist. But
no, Twin Peaks is such a huge deal.
I'm more likely to have seen the 2 episodes he was in SVU than any of the things.
All right, fair enough.
I'm not saying I wouldn't like Twin Peaks. I just never have.
But yeah, I think he was a fantastic choice for Paul Atreides.
Yeah. I mean, like, without knowing his acting chops back in the day, around then, I can't think of. Oh, this was his first movie?
Yes.
Damn. And then he just stayed with David Lynch for a while, huh?
He stayed with David Lynch.
Because I know for a fact that's David Lynch and that's David Lynch.
Entire rest of his career.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Oh, he did Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, so, I mean.
Yeah, the shield effects are kind of a swing and a miss.
Nah. I'm looking at it from the lens of 1984. That's a hit for me. The shield, it's very blocky, but
I mean, I think it's cool.
like in reality, the physical shields that they're creating would probably be blocky.
Yeah.
The idea of a close personal shield that like just hovers above the skin has
Mhm.
always sort of bothered me, because like, how does that work?
Yeah.
How does it create a shield that's directly around your skin or whatever? At best, it would be a bubble.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
a bubble wouldn't work for what theirs does. Theirs allows them to do things using it.
Yeah.
You know? I like that.
Yeah, okay, so
slow
maybe
speeds get through.
maybe I was a little harsh on that. Yeah, I think that's such a that's exactly it's exactly the same in the books, and I think it's a good way to get around the like, oh, you're in space, you have to have laser pistols or whatever.
They won't always work. We have
Yeah.
shields. The idea that you have a shield, but if you go slow enough, you can penetrate it. They touch on that in Stargate. Stargate has that too, with the Goa'uld body shields.
And gee, I wonder.
I'm certain that they pulled. Again, this is definitely, if you did sci-fi, if you didn't read Dune or see Dune or hear about Dune,
You've seen something that's referenced Dune.
yeah. And if you're making a sci-fi movie, again, having never seen, read anything about this, I might accidentally own it.
Yeah.
Could I have been an original thought? Yeah, but
also,
probably not.
Dr. Yue should not be white.
Oh, is he not white in the books?
It's not specified, but
White.
his last name is Chinese.
Yeah, but it's the year 10,191. You don't think cultures have blended by then?
I mean,
you've never seen Firefly.
Shame.
By the year 2500, the lines are blending. So,
okay, noted.
what do you think in 10,000 we're not going to have it? Just so you know, Dune could be 8,000 years after Firefly. It still continues as a real Earth happened, and then this is far in the future.
Sure, why not?
So, that's my headcanon.
I love that for you. Yeah, with all the, I think all of the monologues, as much as they are a flaw in many ways, I think it also, like, this version of the story does try really hard, like, tries its best to explain things for audience members who might be experiencing, like, this particular story for the first time. Unfortunately, this is still borderline incomprehensible if you haven't read the book.
I know enough sci-fi to like get it, and I know enough political intrigue to get it, but yeah, it's a little bit much to try and get across in 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like they have to have shoehorned some stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they've cut. I don't know what they've merged. It seems like they stayed kind of true to the books because it's so.
They definitely,
dense.
yeah, and that is exactly the way that I would describe Dune. It is dense. I think the fighter robot is pretty cool. It's a little clunky, but like they tried, and I appreciate that.
Again, for 1984, looking at it from 1984's lens, this was probably so dope to see on screen.
Oh my god, I cannot even imagine. The notion of the sound weapon is a sweet idea. I think the execution is a little clunky.
Oh, you don't like the Fusroda?
Yeah, that's
using his power words.
That is essentially what it is. But also straight up does not exist in the book.
Oh, they don't do that?
Nope, not at all.
Do they have any kind of gun thing or no?
No.
So what does he train the people with? The Fremen? How does he train them?
It just like.
He just teaches them how to kick hard or something?
No, it's just the kind of like draw everyone together at the same time because they've all been so spread out.
Just unite the clans.
Yeah, that type shit.
Okay.
Anyway.
Like, who designed these sets? Look at this hall here.
Fantastic.
You could take this and make it like a white and gray and marbled, and it would look like a castle.
Mm-hmm.
You could take this and paint it black and add some oily grease dripping down the walls. That's H.R. Geiger. I'm expecting to see some xenomorphs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see this in so many applications, and it looks so good.
Yeah, this looks fake. I truly do. And maybe that's another thing that makes me willing to give this movie points. I'm never bored visually.
Yeah, never. And again, I didn't fall asleep because the story's not interesting. It literally just talked me to sleep. It's Jorgen Prochnow. Have him yell in a very harsh accent at people. Nope, can't have that.
Anyway, Sting was such a weird choice for Fade, I will say. I don't know what was up with that.
It's Sting. It's 1984. Remember when they started making Star Wars movies in the late 90s and 2000s, and people were just like, could I be in that? And so now you have NSYNC as Jedi.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It's a very normal thing.
I don't know.
They didn't put him in like a major character that mattered.
Yeah, he's a lot more important in the book.
Well, they decided, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Which, like, fine, I guess. But if you're not going to do it, why not just cut it out entirely and then use your extra couple minutes to, like, more finely tune some other things?
Well, I agree. Yeah.
Oh, also, I can't remember where I heard this. Somebody else pointed this out. The all these like space nobles have like pugs.
Yeah.
It's like
I was going to ask you about that. Why is the only dog in the future pugs?
Because pugs are so fucked up genetically, and the Bene Gesserit have their like breeding program for space Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's a little motif of that.
I gotcha. Okay. All right.
Another hot take: Chani and the Fremen should not be white either.
I mean, I don't know what Fremen are supposed to be, but
Like desert people.
desert people doesn't mean anything. Desert people can be any.
Like,
does it specifically say that they
doesn't
have
specifically
like
say, but
olive skin, you know, and
actually, yes, it does.
dark hair and
Yes.
okay, then they should probably look more like of Arabic descent.
That exactly. There's a ton of Arabic like Frank.
I
Herbert.
understand the language clearly, like
So, like, I think
Muad'Dib and,
he was leaning that way as well.
Yeah. In the series of books that I like that is now an Amazon show, Wheel of Time, the desert people are pale-skinned, red-haired people.
Fascinating.
They've been there for generations, like thousands of years, but obviously they weren't originally from the desert, and they stay covered all the time, you know. So they never develop a melanin response.
Fascinating. I thought the way they chose to depict the voice was interesting. I don't know if it quite lands for me.
I don't know. Again, without the reference point of the book, them just basically having the power to command by speaking. It's like a form of magic that is only compulsion.
I can't explain this without getting into so much deep lore.
No, I understand. But like that's basically what these witches, their special power is breeding Jesus and speaking, and people have to listen.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they have to have a pacifier when they don't want them to be doing that.
Later, when they never actually they do. The Gom Jabbar test later in the book and in the movie Jesus, I'm making a connection again. But I dig the complete inclusion of that, like, I must not fear is the mind killer. They like lift that verbatim from the book, and I appreciate
that starts in the beginning. He does that.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. The hand in the box. Yeah. Fear is the mind killer. That's a quote that even if you've never read or seen Dune.
Yeah, I appreciate that they kept the verbatim text there. I think there are many times when this movie fails because it tries to stay as close to the text as possible, but that's not one of them.
No, yeah, that's a good quote.
Mhm.
You know, yeah.
I gotta say, this is my note about the entirety of Dune, not just Dune 1984. I find myself so annoyed by Paul Atreides as a character because, of course, he has to be the super Jesus who's better than all of the women in this mysterious matriarchal society.
Sure, yeah. Day one, when he has the magic power because he's a man, he's better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, that's my
Obviously.
critique of Dune on the whole. Fuck
I'd
that
say-
shit.
I'd say they're about 70% as effective as him.
Yeah.
But
I think that Brad Dourif was a good choice for Piter.
yeah, I like he's Weasley.
Yeah, he's
It's
got a
like-
manic energy to him.
Yeah. Very Grima Wormtongue. Very, you know, unsettled and unsettling advisor.
Yeah. Like scheming court eunuch.
Yeah. Is he a eunuch?
I don't
He looks like a eunuch. I'm sorry, Brad Dourif. But like if I learned he was a eunuch, I'd be like, that tracks.
I don't actually remember if that was part of the Mentats deal in the books. It very well could have been.
Did I miss it, or do they never explain in the movie why Baron Haagen-Dazs,
Harkonnen.
there we go, Harkonnen, why he's all pestilent?
That was just a style. That was just an artistic embellishment.
That's not even in the books?
Nope.
Is he fat and floating around in the book?
Yes.
Okay. But the disease is...
That's a Lynch thing.
Guy's got problems.
That
was completely unnecessary, and I felt like that was a plot point that it never paid off. And see, that's a problem for me.
That's
If
just
you're gonna-
David Lynch.
If you're going to make a change or add something like that, there has to be a point to it, and there was no point to it. I thought maybe I missed it and I was going to feel bad, but no, just no point.
That is just
No,
Mr. Lynch.
he had the bubbles before that.
In the newer version, though, he doesn't have them, and then Paul's father poisons him, and that's when he has like
Oh,
he's all kind of like screwed up looking.
I have not seen the second of the new
okay.
Dune films.
In the 1984 version, he starts out with the pussy like pustules on his face and stuff, and the someone's like lancing them and saying, "Your diseases are the most beautiful diseases, sire," you know. And then later on, Paul's dad, Jared Leto, is supposed to bite his tooth and gas him, and he doesn't. He ends up gassing Piter the eunuch instead. Yes, I called him Jared Leto.
I know. I smell what you're cooking.
I have to remember things somehow, and the way I do it is it's either a mnemonic or, you know,
I love that for you.
that's why I couldn't remember Hasselhoff.
Harkonnen.
There we go. So I went with Haagen-Dazs and then Hasselhoff, Harkonnen. Hard cannon, got it.
There you go.
Head cannon. But yeah, no, he doesn't even gas him in this version. He gasses Piter, the eunuch.
Where was I? I really like. Speaking of like the sets again, I really like the design for Gaidi Prime. That was really giving Eraserhead. It was very like industrial and oppressive.
It was very fitting too, yeah.
Absolutely. I think they went a little over the top with the grossness for the Harkonnens, I will say.
Well, that's, yeah, like, if that doesn't pay off anywhere,
And again,
why are they buffoonish, diseased people?
that's just Lynch.
So that would be a thing where I'd say maybe they should have cut that out and reined him in on that and let him do some of his other ideas instead.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to do something gross, why not do that with the sandworms or, you know?
Yeah. Although, we'll get to the sandworms.
Oh, we will.
Oh, I felt the need to write this down because this means something to me, but Jack Nance who plays, for anybody who's watched Twin Peaks, he plays Pete Martell. He's in this, as are a bunch of other Lynch regulars.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But
Who does he play in this?
I don't even remember his character's name. I'll point him out when he pops up. I think even though the Harkonnens are fucking disgusting, they did do a really good makeup job with the Baron. Like, it looks good even if it is gross, and with all the like other sort of nasty SFX that they do for the Harkonnens.
Yeah, so like my problem isn't with how it looks or anything. It's that I want that to mean something, and it doesn't. It's a Chekhov's gun that never fires.
And
like, you'd fail a film project for this.
Being a massive fan of David Lynch is being okay with a fucking militia's worth of Chekhov's guns that never fire.
I understand, and
so I understand why that is I understand why that is a turnoff for people. I really do get why people don't like David Lynch.
Yeah, you can't just throw stuff out and have it not pay off. There's only so many like red herrings.
Does it,
so
much,
right? And so it's probably just exhausting for people.
Yeah, I'm sure many people would describe the work of David Lynch as fucking exhausting, but I love it.
I honestly don't pay attention to directors too often, so I couldn't tell you what of his work I haven't seen. I'd have to go through his, discography and go, that discography, filmography.
I think when they do the space folding scene with the guild navigators, it's a valiant effort to make it look cool with the effects that existed at the time.
You want it to look different from hyperspace. You want it to look different from other things that have been done.
From warp speed.
Yeah, because you have which is basically the same as hyperspeed, effectively. His fucking eyebrows.
Yeah.
Brad Dourif.
That's again
fucking eyebrows.
Just a design choice.
Oh.
The red diamond though for Dr. Yue that's a detail from the book.
Okay.
That the Imperial conditioning, it's a tattoo.
Okay.
Just cause, I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, they stayed true to the books, but in a way that nobody else would notice.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's awesome that you stayed true to the books, but like if you don't tell me, I don't know, and I don't care.
I think the still suit design is pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, those are great.
Those are kind of fantastic.
Yeah, those are very well done. The still suits.
Like, and even I've seen the first of the new Dune movies. They don't stray all that far.
I feel like you would have to
from this.
Changed a little bit, maybe, but you don't have to go too far to make it work.
Yeah, God.
They never explain why these people have their ears sewn shut.
Yeah, no, it's just
weird eye hole things.
David Lynch, you crazy motherfucker.
I actually don't even remember. Do they explain the heart thing either? The heart pump?
Nope.
Is any of this from the books?
Nope, not even a little bit. This is
and it's such a thing. Like it's
prevalent.
It's on screen so much.
Mr. Lynch doing his thing.
This is the stuff I would have cut for him. If I was,
yeah.
If I was producing this project, I'd be like, all right, can we try it without all that now?
Yeah. I think they do a good job with the spice eyes effects, the blue and blue.
I actually tried to watch very closely to see the overlay, to see they do pretty good keeping it in track and in space.
It's really not a bad job.
Again, because it's an overlay. That's the only thing it could have possibly done in this day and age. By the way, Jack Nance is Nefud.
Oh, sure. Oh, fun! The studio's falling apart.
No. King Ghidorah was just mad.
Yeah.
So he's joined the party.
Flying leap, yeah.
He really did. He took out some other things on
He's
the way.
top heavy, yeah.
Oh no.
That's probably why he fell.
That would explain that.
Sorry, dude. Where was I? Yeah, still suit design is awesome. Spice eye effects are awesome.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Or as good as they could have been, I think.
Yeah.
And oh, did you catch the little cameo of David Lynch?
I don't know what David Lynch looks like.
Oh, okay. Never mind. He's when the sequence with the spice harvester where it gets swallowed by the sandworm, he's the guy on the radio.
Oh. The harvesters. I don't know how they're described in the book. The models for them are really good.
Yeah, they're freaking awesome.
The ball-shaped wheel with the spokes.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually work pretty good in a desert.
The whole sequence with the sandworm swallowing the harvester is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, every scene that involves the sandworms
is great.
They did a great job with them.
They did such a good job with the sandworms. I absolutely love it. The poison gas tooth that is actually from the book.
I have no problem with that. That's a real thing you can do.
Oh, cool.
You can have a fake tooth with a capsule in it. It's a breakable tooth with a capsule in it. That's very, 50 spies in the real world.
Oh, cool.
Usually it would be like cyanide to kill yourself, but the idea that you could instead put some type of high potency, like VX gas.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're dying, but
yeah,
well, you kiss, That's very realistic because it only kills the person that gets breathed on directly. Yeah. You can do that with VX gas.
The weirding modules are movie only, I will say.
Okay.
Which is a kind of neither here nor there. I'm not anti the notion of the sound weapon. I just don't know if this was the best possible execution of it.
I don't know if it was necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
did they do in the books? Just nothing in place of that. That's just a completely new addition.
Yeah, that's just
he doesn't have like magic powers where he throws people or does anything. Nothing.
Nope.
Huh.
That's just, again, Lynch being Lynch, I think.
In fact, he probably was trying to take inspiration from other sci-fi too. I'm guessing. I love the reverse mohawk, by the way.
Yeah, that's such a
so
fascinating
weird
design choice. Oh, in the book, it's hinted that the Baron likes them very young, and they sort of hinted that here as well.
Yeah.
It's grody.
Is it explicit in the book what he does with these people? Or is it implied like it is here?
Implied to be pretty nasty.
Because here, I don't know, that seems like for sure sadomasochism, sexual violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That man either got off or is about to get off. Okay.
Anyway. Don't know how to move on from that, so we're just gonna do it.
Pugs.
Yeah, more pugs.
Jorgen Prochnow with a beard.
He pulls it off.
Yeah, really well. I'd pull that off.
Okay.
What? His mom's a fox.
Thank you, Chris.
What was that? The horny stick? Oh no, it was a whip. Okay. Yeah.
What's the horny stick?
The horny hammer. Like you go to horny jail. You've
Oh,
never seen like the dog with a
Bonk.
stick? Bonk. Go to horny jail.
Horny jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen that. Later in the movie, in our sort of first of two big battle sequences, all the explosions are pretty convincing.
Yeah. So I think that most of the effects, practical and CG, are pretty well done in this.
Mm-hmm. One time,
every time I see a pug, I chuckle. I can't help it. It's the stupidest dog, and
it is the stupidest dog. Stop buying pugs. They shouldn't exist.
They literally
should not exist.
They've been bred into unsurvivability.
What was I saying? I'm getting so ahead of myself. I feel like I'm getting so ahead of myself because this is such a long movie, and I'm much further ahead.
You know, we should just put movies like this on double speed when we're all so that they can keep up with us.
That might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
But this might be another tiny moment of criticism of like, oh, not matching the book. Because since when Duncan dies, I don't remember his death in the book. I don't remember how he dies. But they make a whole big deal out of like, oh, the slow blade will penetrate the shield. They make a whole big deal out of Duncan dying to like laser guns when he had a shield. What the fuck was that about?
Feels again like something that didn't pay off.
Yeah.
They're so nasty.
Yeah.
The navigators.
Yeah, they're grody.
It's if you've never seen this movie, they're like the brain bug from Starship Troopers had a baby with Jabba the Hutt.
That's a good description.
And they're as gross as that sounds. Oh, he's farting fire now. Forgot about that.
Yeah, this whole sequence is
I'm sure that's
odd.
Dr. Brooks's favorite scene when they fart fire to find planets.
I think they try really hard to show the sort of like the spice induced like prescience, but it really doesn't always land.
Yeah, they try, but sometimes I just
they
feel
do
like
their
I want
best.
spice.
They do their best.
I'd
Like,
love to see how the new movie does it.
similarly, but it feels a bit more. I don't know. It lands better. It feels more fine tuned.
Again, I mean, I don't know what their budget was on this, but it was a big project.
It was a big project, and it did not pay off, unfortunately.
That's what,
Or
so,
like was not successful, which I don't know if it necessarily. I don't think it deserves the reputation it has of being like, oh, the biggest sci-fi failure of all time. Like, no,
well, no, we've all seen The Last Jedi.
I haven't.
Well, that was just a joke for everyone that's a Star Wars fan.
I like that my note says in all caps "worm time" because I was just so excited when it was time for some more awesome ass sandworm effects.
The worms in this are exactly, almost 100% the inspiration for Tremors.
Oh, I'm certain.
Like even the design of the worms, not just how they work by sensing vibrations and all, like literally the design with the 3-piece mouth and everything, and no eyes, and digging through the ground.
And like from a design standpoint, it also just makes sense. Like, yeah, that's probably what a giant critter like that would be like. The design in this movie.
Yes.
Also, I couldn't remember. They make kind of a big deal out of like people not knowing about the relationship between like the spice and the worms. I'm pretty sure that's common knowledge in the book, but I kind of can't remember.
I honestly don't even remember what that's relationship to the spice.
It's like the worms create the spice somehow.
Yeah, so that was my guess right from the get-go when he goes, "What's the relation?" He goes, "We don't know." I was like, it's either their poop or some other, thing that they create, like a byproduct of them as they eat the sand to dig through the sand.
That's literally, I'm like that. I'm 99% sure that's what it is.
That 100% would have been my guess right from the get-go,
Which again, I'm pretty sure in the book that's just like common knowledge, but I don't remember.
And so them mining spice means that they're mining where worms have been and are.
Yes.
Which is why it's so dangerous.
Precisely.
But would also draw them in.
Mm-hmm.
More worms, more spice. It's worm poop. He said it's worm poop. I was right. It's poop.
There we go. Yeah, they go pretty over the top with making the Harkonnens as like depraved as possible.
They are for sure like they're meant to be the obvious villains.
Oh, 100%.
But I don't like when it's that heavy-handed. And again, it's not like for a reason.
It is very heavy-handed. I will definitely agree with you there. I think Fade's Speedo is stupid as fuck.
You don't like Sting in a Speedo?
No, not really.
Noted. Many women of the 80s would be very disappointed in you. They
I'm,
didn't fight for your rights, so
I'm
you
s-
can throw them away
I'm sorry, women.
by not thirsting after Sting in a Speedo.
This is just something that, as a reader of the book, I was kind of surprised that they didn't use the term Shai Hulud until like quite a ways into this movie, just because they do it much sooner in the new Dune movie, and I liked that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, also in the book, just the Alia is so indescribably fucked up.
That name. I know I should know it.
The freaky ass child.
The little girl.
Yeah, the little girl. Yeah, she's such a messed up character.
Well, that makes sense.
Why milking the cat?
I didn't understand that at all. Was that, I'm assuming, not in the book?
Nope. That was just
Again, it was to make them
a choice.
look super evil. You're poisoned, and the only way that you can survive is to milk this cat that has a rat taped to it.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't remember them explaining why there's a rat taped to the cat.
There's no explanation. None whatsoever.
Also, I didn't see a lot of nipples on that cat. Like, it didn't look like it had recently given birth. So when they say milk the cat, and he also said you just have to rub its skin to milk it, didn't he?
Maybe?
Fuck does any of this mean? You know what's on Spice? David Lynch was on Spice.
Yeah, probably.
But not the Spice from this, the Spice from Star Wars, which is basically like hardcore crack cocaine.
Oh, sure. Oh.
In Star Wars, there's a drug called Spice, and it does not let you see into the future or travel through space. It's like LSD and crack cocaine put together, and it's manufactured in labs.
Cute. I think in this, the relationship between Paul and Chani is super underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Which is just, they cut it for time, and I think one of the reasons,
Not one of the things they should have cut.
not one of the things they should have cut, and I think it's one of the reasons that the new Dune works as well as it does, is because you have 2 movies worth of room to breathe,
Yeah.
and this is a story that needs that.
I mean, knowing it's 7 books, 2 feels like the appropriate way to go if there's not any sort of like, if the books don't have individual ebbs and flows that you could contain to make up a whole movie,
Yeah.
2 to 3 is the right number. Some books are written where each book is self-contained. It can be its own movie. Take your Harry Potters, where each one is a school year. I don't know how you would condense that down.
Yeah.
You know, Wheel of Time is written because he only thought he was going to get 1 book. The first book is all inclusive. Then he got a 2-book deal to finish out the trilogy, so that trilogy closes out really well. So, and then from that point forward, it was always 2 to 3 book deals. You know, so there's like story arcs in all the books, but the main ones kind of like you can feel them closing, and you can make singular seasons of a show or movies with that. I don't know how doing the books. I don't know if that would have worked. Could they have done it in 2? Yes. Should they have made it 3? I don't know. 7 books. I mean, it really depends on how dense the content of the other books.
Dense.
Like, does this whole war go on over all 7 books?
The books take place over like tens of thousands of years.
Oh. So like Paul's only a character in book 1. And then in book 2, it's thousands of years later.
No. Paul's a character in the second book.
Okay. But at some point there's time jumps between
Yes.
books. And you're way in the future again.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Anyway. I think shutting down Spice production, that's a great example of collective action.
Oh yeah. No, he says he who can stop production controls production.
And he's right.
He who can stop the production of something controls that thing. Which was the whole, he controls Spice, controls everything. Well, if I can do this, then I effectively control it. So he seized the means of production and halted the production because they're not as dependent on it
We
as
have
everybody
nothing
else.
to lose but our chains, comrades.
Whoop whoop. I'm all for it. Anyway, I would say we should do the Nick's Not Here, but I don't want the Soviet anthem anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your guys have been bad for a while,
Yeah.
but they've been making it worse and worse.
They've been making it a lot worse.
Yeah, really amping up their game.
We have our podcast button has been pressed in spirit, if not in actuality. Anyway, how the fuck did they build the weirding modules out in the desert?
You know, rocks and stuff.
Sure, why not?
What, just because they live in the desert means that they can't have, manufacturing plants? They make the spice. Harvest the spice and make it, so that they have some sorts of technology and tools. They make still suits.
Yeah, okay. You know what?
They have the ability to manufacture.
You're right. You're completely correct. I think the worm riding scene goes hard as fuck. Heard it as soon as I said it. The sandworm riding.
I don't know if there's really a lot of saving it, just making it sound more suggestive of other things.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, no,
we
know what you mean.
I'm trying to fix it.
They saddled the worm, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, exactly.
Oh boy. But no, was that not cool as shit?
Yeah, no, I mean, the visuals in this are very often
Awesome.
incredible. I don't fully understand like some of the technologies; they're not really explained, but I don't need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a sci-fi movie and they take it and they go, "Well, I'm going to use the communication device to talk to them," and then he puts it back. I don't need that.
Yeah,
I get it. Show me, don't tell me.
I gotta say, like, as a book enjoyer I would have eaten this up. As an enjoyer of the book in 1984, I would have been having a great time at the movies.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Like, it's not bad. Certainly had room to grow, and as long as it's relatively true to the source material, I wouldn't be too offended. Again, I'm going to keep going back to it because it's a great current example. The Wheel of Time books are now a TV show. It is incredibly different from the books. But it's okay. It's still good. It's still fun.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. That's
okay.
Yeah.
And this is already a long ass movie, but they still, like, again, because the books are so fucking dense, they still have to gloss over things. Like, they gloss over a lot of shit with Alia. They completely gloss over the relationship with Paul and Chani. Like, you're already cutting things for time, but you're also still trying to cram in so much.
Yeah. I love that Max von Sydow, after they rescue the miners, I hate that it's an internal thought, because basically there's only 2 parts of this movie where, like, the internal thought, I'm like, okay, that needs to be internal.
Mm-hmm.
When he's thinking, he cared more about the men than the spice. Perhaps I misjudged him.
Mm-hmm.
You could have said that to another Fremen later.
Yeah.
You didn't need...
No, you're right.
To, like, in line with when it happened in the book, have a thought bubble above his head. And that's what they should have done. Just...
Yeah.
That's how goofy it is. It's just...
Mm-hmm. No, I do think of it as a flaw. Another flaw... This is just, a flaw of all iterations of Dune. The special chosen boy thing just gets so annoying.
The chosen one, how it's always a boy?
Yeah,
or
like
just the chosen one in general?
Chosen one always being a boy, especially this one, like, oh, the only one who can look into the place where women can't. It's
yeah.
Like, shut up.
But they kind of needed that. Otherwise, if it was a woman, then they would have killed the line of witches and never let the witches have children.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
So, like,
it's a flaw of Dune. It's not a flaw of this movie specifically.
Wasn't the whole thing with that like Frank Herbert's breeding kink?
Pretty much, yeah.
The weird desert breeder witches.
They're. You just reminded me. I saw a meme that was literally like Atlas holds the world, and it was like the entire Dune series. Frank Herbert's breeding king.
Yeah. Which,
like, whatever you're into, King.
I mean, not whatever you're into. I mean, I'm definitely gonna have some questions. I can't stop you, but I can judge you.
Alia is kind of fucking terrifying. Just the notion of like fucked up little child with the memories of hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution.
See, but that's the other thing, by the way. She's more powerful in ways than Paul. So you have your boy child Jesus kid who, you know, starts this process, but then you have his little sister who is in her own ways just as unique and special. And
I mean, yeah.
Could have made her a boy too,
I suppose. I think the riding the sandworms into battle was so sick.
Yeah.
The whole climactic fight is honestly pretty epic.
Yeah.
No
complaints.
I like the added touch of having the Baron get eaten by a worm. That is not what happens in the book, but I think it's fun detail for the movie.
It works real well for the movie. I don't know how he dies in the book, but
I can't remember.
See? It's not as cool as getting
There
eaten
you
by
go.
a worm.
It's not as cool as getting eaten by a sandworm. There is very little emphasis put on the duel between this sort of like fated duel between Fade and Paul. There's so much about its like its inevitability in the book,
Right.
and here it's just kind of like a random ass thing that happened. But
It's pretty short too.
the knife up through the jaw, though, that is exactly how he dies in the book,
And it's practical.
which I'm here for that. I thought the hand-to-hand combat choreography could have been significantly better.
Other than Asian cinema, at this point in time, there's not a lot of good fight choreography going on in Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We hadn't yet decided to integrate that type of choreography because we didn't have an emphasis on it until we realized, oh, kung fu movies, people are cool with that.
Yeah.
Even though guns exist and laser blasters,
Mm-hmm.
people still want to see people kung fu fight. All right, have them do a kickflip.
And I will say the irony of this movie having Paul end as kind of universal savior. The whole rest of the entire series is about the ramifications of naming this one guy as like the charismatic leader who's going to bring us all to freedom.
I would love to know what the downfall of it all is over thousands of years, but I'll probably just read the books.
You can borrow my copies, dude. I highly recommend the Dune series if you are at all a sci-fi person. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Dune 1984, David Lynch.
So again, knowing what things weren't part of the book and were just Lynch pins. Yeah, I did that. Thank you. I almost wish it wasn't him that did this.
I don't know if he was the choice for this story.
I don't hate it. It's not.
I don't hate it.
bad.
I frankly do really kind of like it, especially just again as a person who loves his other body of work. And the fact that I also like Dune, it's like, yeah, fuck it. Maybe they don't exactly fit together, but this is good enough for me.
I look at it this way, like when they rebooted the Star Trek franchise and they had
J.J.
Abrams do it. It's so wildly different from anything Star Trek ever before that it's fine. You want to have your rock star action movie, Star Trek franchise, fine, whatever. But I don't know if it was the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Could have done the same story and not done all that. I credit J.J. Abrams' Star Treks with why I don't like Marvel movies. Because it just feels so wrong and so the same plucky humor and the same jokes,
Mhm.
and here's an action scene and over sexualization there, and I don't need that. If I'm watching a movie about superheroes or Star Trek, I want it to be what I'm used to. Not don't just make it pop culture.
Mhm. No, yeah, I know what you
But
mean.
anyway, that's not anything to do with this. It's just it's the same tone for me. Like I feel like a different director might have not brought themselves into it so much.
Mhm.
But on the caveat in La La Land or make believe, do we know that they would have stayed true to the material? Because yes, he did these weird things, but the overall story is
Yeah, the bones of it are still there.
dead on. Yeah, from what I'm hearing, the major pieces are there. Yeah, I don't know. That's my take. I just don't know how you can put me to sleep with Patrick Stewart, Jorgen Prochnow, Sting, um, Max von Sydow, Brad Dourif,
Yeah, I don't know.
Virginia Madsen.
I don't know how you got put to sleep either.
It's just the audio. I'm telling you. I will someday take this and rip the audio and then show you the compression, how it varies so little.
All right.
It's like hypnotizing you to sleep.
Want to get into ratings?
Let's get into ratings.
For rewatchability, for me, honestly, this is a solid like 6.5 out of 10.
Whew, I really thought you were going to go higher. Okay.
Like, I don't want to watch it all the time, but I've watched it this second time, and fuck it, I'd show this to somebody. Be like, hey, you want to see some weird ass sci-fi?
Yeah,
Sit your ass down.
you're just in over the aggregate on IMDb. They're 6.3.
Yeah.
So you're right in tune with that. I haven't read the source material, so I don't have a love for that to bring to it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's a little lower.
Understandable.
Just because I have no skin in the game. I have no connection to it. No pus-filled postulating skin in the game. Postulate, not postulate. We gotta switch back to regular fusion power. Papa John's. Get it hot like Papa John's. Yeah. Anyway, I would go in at 6 right now. And that's
Okay.
still you're just above. I'm just below. They have 6.3 on IMDb.
Yeah.
What about what it did for the genre? We're talking the movie, not the book. Books.
And that's the real bitch of it, is that the book did so much. So the fact that they were even trying to make this into a movie is kind of a big moment for the genre. But that's not an original. It's not an original thought at that point.
Yeah. So unfortunately, when did the book come out? The first one.
1965.
Yeah. Okay. So the book may have originated a ton of ideas that we then instead saw in Star Wars first, or in Star Trek first. No, actually, Star Trek has been off the air, but
yeah, no, I get what you mean.
yeah, like literally Sarlacc to Sandworm, literally, desert people, Space Jesus, desert planet, all of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for film, Star Wars got there first.
Star Wars did get there first. For what this does, it's honestly like a 4. You didn't do much, and I'm sorry. You're based on something that did.
I want to know. See, and this is the problem without doing like deep dives into the trivia and the making of and everything. We don't know. But is there any filmography technique that they invented for this? Like the blue eyes thing. Is that something new that they had actually found a way to do and they're the first?
I don't know. I don't recall anything like that in the trivia.
Yeah. Or the way they made the still suits. Was there something unique about that makes it more interesting and you can see it used later on? I don't know.
Yeah. Nothing really comes to mind, which is unfortunate because I feel like I'm being mean, but it's kind of just the truth.
Ooh, Flying Arrow that's controlled remotely. Yondu and his
Oh
whistle
yeah.
arrow thing. They did it first. Actually, they did it before the character Yondu.
Sure.
1984. That's what I don't know when the
No,
first.
Yandu's from the 60s.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Damn it. Well, they still did it first in film.
I'm more than willing to give them that.
Yeah, that's it. So I'd agree. It's like a 4. It's
Not
didn't do
unfortunately it's not much.
you did a lot of really cool stuff, and I hope that you inspired other people to build sets the way you built sets for the miniatures and to costume with the attention to detail
Yeah,
that you
to
costumed.
care about the amount, like, people clearly fucking cared about this a lot, and it shows.
Whether they knew the source material or not, the people working on this movie came in and wanted this to be a good movie.
Yeah.
They valued the success of this movie, and it shows. And you can see when people phone it in too.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing. This is an older movie, and we're seeing it more high def than it was ever intended to be seen.
Yeah.
If you watch some old movies, and now they're in high def, you can see things in the background, like lines in the set where like two pieces of didn't connect properly that you never would have seen originally.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's been improved into high definition. You can now see set pieces falling apart that I didn't ever catch that, and I was looking for it. I was looking for, you can see that. That's definitely styrofoam glued together.
Yeah, and not once.
No, nothing. That was one of the 4 yelling scenes by the way, right there.
Noted.
These
Yeah.
explosions, not loud.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So much went into this.
Pug. You have to chug when you see a pug. We should do a Dune drinking game.
That would be
Chug for pugs.
chug for pugs.
Chug
I
for
like
pugs.
that.
And they're infrequent enough that you would not die, but they're frequent enough that you would get hammered in 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, this is
The Dune pug chug.
Dune Pug Chug. I love it. Yeah, this battle sequence is so entertaining.
Oh, it's
You've always got something fantastic to look at.
every scene. There's something interesting going on in this. That you just see the bottom of a spaceship swoop through the top of the screen.
Yeah,
that's it. Didn't have to add that. They could have just had like whooshing sound effects, but they wanted you to like something had just done a strafing run. You know,
they wanted to immerse you, and it shows.
I think I read in the trivia that their outfits are made out of body bags.
Oh no shit.
And after reading it, Chug Patrick Stewart with a pug in his jacket fighting a
charging.
War. What the fuck? Yeah, so after I saw that in the trivia, I was actually looking for it, and I could see it. Let's see. I could swear it was body bags found in a disused fire station dating back to the early 1920s.
Whack.
Yeah. Yeah. All in all, a good film. Definitely wouldn't say was it a critical success at the time it was made? No. Did it ever reach
box
cult
office flop?
Yeah. Well, technically to be a success, you have to make back like 1.5 times the costs or something. So if the budget was 200 million, you have to make 300 million, or it's not a success. Because
I don't know exactly what it's made. I know it was considered kind of a failure.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It could have broke even and still been a failure.
Yeah,
that's why. That's my point. Doesn't mean they did bad. Oh, that's funny. During the movie's original release, cheat sheets explaining much of the movie's setting and its more obscure vocabulary were handed out to moviegoers at some theaters.
Yeah.
I think that would have driven people away. If I heard that, I would not buy a ticket to go see that movie.
You got your dictionary in the back of the book.
I'm familiar with that. I've read enough heavy fantasy and sci-fi where you have a glossary at the back.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you have to really know what you're doing if you're ever going to try to adapt anything that has a glossary or a dictionary at the back.
Because it's hard to follow, and that's why you have to
Mhm.
include that in the book. Yeah. Oh,
But yeah, I do still like this. And maybe the fact that maybe it's only because I already like Dune and I already like David Lynch. Because there's definitely a disconnect between those two. Something here didn't quite line up. But I still like the end product because I like both of the components.
and that's fine. I just there's definitely a disconnect for me because I can tell it just doesn't quite fit,
Mm.
and that's why I asked about like the things that you're like, oh, that's just Lynch, and I'm like, good. Doesn't mean I don't like Lynch. There's other movies where I want more of that. It just means I don't think I liked him for this.
If you've never seen a David Lynch film, I would recommend you start with.
I didn't say I've never seen them. I said I couldn't name them because I don't pay attention really to directors. I'd have to go look.
Well, then this is for anybody. If you've never seen a David Lynch film, start with either The Elephant Man or Blue Velvet.
Have seen The Elephant Man. Haven't seen Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet is a little bit weirder, so if you're looking for weirder, that's a good place to test how weird.
Okay. Eraserhead. That's for anyone. That's a family film.
No, do not start with that. Or you know what? If you're looking to go balls to the wall insanity, do start with that.
I was in it balls. Yeah, so this movie, I might raise my rating if I watch it again, like to show somebody else.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right now, I'll keep my 6. Yeah. But if I read the books, I'm like, oh, I'm just glad somebody tried.
Yeah.
It's the kind of the way I would feel
That's
about
kind of the way I feel about it. I am really glad that somebody tried because
if he hadn't and it didn't happen, would we have gotten the new movies we have today?
Yeah.
So I feel that way about Lord of the Rings for like the 70s cartoon versions.
Mhm.
Not really all that good. But if somebody hadn't done that, hadn't tried,
would that have inspired the Lord of the Rings that we have now?
right? Well, because it might have even faded out of zeitgeist
Mhm.
if they hadn't brought it back in the 70s,
Yeah.
So let's see for our next movie.
It's your pick, my dude.
It is, and I have had a list this whole time, and I just kept forgetting that I had one. We did Waterworld, so let me take. I just took another one off too. Already did it. Let's see. Do we want something more fun and lighthearted, or do we want something more serious? Or I've got cultural icons on here. I've got cultural icons that are fun.
What do you most want to show me?
I just don't know if you've seen these things or not. So I'm sure you've seen that. Well, Wing Commander. Did you ever see Wing Commander?
Nope.
Wing Commander it is.
Okay. Should I be scared?
It is also deeply reviled.
Oh boy. Okay.
In fact, I say also, but no, it's a different level of divisive on whether or not you like Wing Commander.
Okay.
So we'll do that. I wanted to see what the IMDb reading just to get you really in there.
Me.
It is 4.3. I'll help you. It stars Freddie Prinze Jr.
Okay. You know what? That makes me even more confused as to how to feel.
Because now,
Yeah.
now you're a little hard. Anyway, so we are going to do Wing Commander for
Okay.
our next Regrettable Reviews in 2 weeks.
Well, that'll be fun.
In the interim, what have you been up to?
I have been playing a lot of Minecraft.
I've only recently started playing that.
And how's that going for you?
So I guess they just sort of assume, or maybe it was always this way, that it's been around long enough you know how to play. because there is literally not a tutorial.
I think we talked about this.
Yeah, you just start the game,
This sounds very familiar.
and I'm like, what do I do? All right, well, I'll just start hitting stuff, and now I have sticks. Great. I'm gonna go hit this rock. That gave me a type of rock. Let me hit this rock. I didn't get anything for that. Then I build a pickaxe. Now I get stuff from there. Was anyone going to explain that to me?
I think there was a tutorial at one point, but that was when I was playing on Xbox as a kid.
I'm playing on Switch right now, and there's no tutorial. It never even gave me an option. And there was no, like, there's a little bit of a difficulty level for the monsters if you're in survival mode, but it's a huge jump. It goes from nightmare, if you die, you die, down to, like, it's super hard and they'll kick your ass. And then the next thing down is they spawn less, move slower, and you can and hunger can only take you down to half health or something. There's no just don't spawn quite so many of them. They can be just as tough as they are. But I don't like that as soon as the sun goes down, I'm getting hit by arrows from 3 directions. Because skeleton archers are just there.
Yeah, the skeleton archers bother me a lot. They piss me off.
And the baby zombies can fuck right off.
Little bastards.
Can fuck right off.
Yeah, no.
They're hard to hit, smaller hitbox. And
Yeah, no. It's a whole thing.
I'm on like day, I don't know, 112. I've died about 112 fucking times.
I swear to God, you used to not have to fight for your fucking life to find basic resources in Minecraft.
Yeah. And again, you only get a handful of recipes. I didn't know I had the things to make a torch because it didn't give me the recipe for a torch. So I had to go online and it said, if you have flint and sticks, you do this. And I was like, oh. And then I did that. And then it was like, coal and sticks, you can do this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, look, I have torches. And it's like, you found the recipe for torches. And I was like, but I already had those materials.
So why didn't you tell me?
Fucking tell me one of just the base stuff like that. If you tell me how to make a torch, then now I know how to make a torch. And then I can go, can I make the torch better? And you start doing other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Minecraft.
That is Minecraft.
What are you working on in that? Are you building something, doing something? Just
I'm a little survival base. I like to make myself a little hut.
I built mine under a mountain.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
What else have I been up to? I feel like I haven't been doing anything, which is so lame.
Oh, wow. How are you going to get worse? For your Wednesdays. You don't do anything.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
I'll have to get a lot worse tonight and tomorrow during the day.
I have thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm really looking forward. I'm hoping this heat continues so I can get back on my bike. Really looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time.
I left mine out all winter, so
Oh, boy.
it was already in pretty bad shape, the chain and the gears and everything. So I imagine this year is the year it'll snap.
That'll be fun for
It's
you.
an old bike, and I want to get a new one. The pedals broke, and I was like, well, I'm not going to buy a new bike because the pedals broke. That's like $10, you know. But, the chain snapped, and the gears are all rusty. I can't fix that easy. It's going to cost me $100 just to do that. So I might just get a new bike. That's how I get new stuff.
I love that for you.
I let things break, even though I could have taken care of them.
Noted. What have you been up to other than Minecraft?
Back into Snap, Marvel Snap. It's a card game on the phone game. It's pretty good. The special event is over, so now it's just the regular game again.
High voltage is coming back down.
I don't think I played High Voltage. Well, maybe I'll try that out. Maybe I'll be back in the game. Otherwise, I'm about to fade out of that again.
I've also been playing Fallout New Vegas.
Oh yeah, how's that? I never did that one.
Going good so far. I think I'm really not that far into it. I'm still on like the first 2 quests.
Okay.
But I'm certainly intrigued, story-wise.
The Fallout games always had pretty decent story.
I love Fallout 4.
I just wish the VAT system was better. I loved VATs in 3.
Never played 3.
It was so good. I just upped my luck and then took the VATS based feats and everything. And so, I just aim for headshots. As soon as I could enter VATS, I'd enter VATS and aim for headshots. And 9 times out of 10, everything was dead before it was within arms. It's like, oh, that mutant's dead, and so is his family. But I've been playing Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. That's just an idle. I don't even know what to call it. You just have heroes and they fight monsters, and you progress through levels, and then you reset and do
cute.
other levels and challenges and stuff. It's something I just have on in the background that I don't have to really pay attention to.
I dig.
I want to get back into reading, so I'm going to be borrowing Dune.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I just took a new job at work
Yay.
where I don't have to do on-call anymore.
Yay.
It's a lateral move, same pay grade, same pay, but I will always have my nights and weekends.
Hell yeah.
So that's pretty dope.
Absolutely love that for you, my dude.
Yeah, it's going to bring a lot of stress out of my life because, I didn't even make it to last night's Big Dumb Monsters because I was 2 minutes out and I got a call from work.
Yikes.
It was like 8:15 by the time I was done, and I was like, if I drive over there, it's going to be more distracting than helpful.
Yikes.
So it was brutal. But yeah, so that's really all I've had going on. Getting excited for Adirondack
Retro Nerd
Nerd Fest, which is April from 11 to 4 or something. I don't know. I was going to make shit up. It's in our links, which is coming up shortly.
Give us just a second.
As we...
Highlighting so you can see.
Oh, I thought you were going to highlight the whole thing and drop it in chat. We're over here just
We're
staring
like,
at it.
huh?
Both of us had the same thought, right? He's
Yeah.
getting ready to put it in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can read that anyway.
Yeah, even I'm having a little trouble reading that.
So one of us just had cataract surgery, so that tells you how my eyes are.
Oh boy. There we go. Yes. Retro Nerd Fest, April 5th, 11 to 4.
I was right about the time. I just couldn't remember the date.
So
And if you go to thebullandbee.com,
you
and
can
enter-
get a sweet ass discount on some mead.
yeah, on your online orders, enter Monster Mead, all one word, and you get $5 off your online orders. We are going to be in May.
Saratoga, baby.
That's
Gonna-
our big one. That's our bread and butter.
We're gonna have such a good time. Come swing by. Brooks will be in town.
It's going to be a dangerous night for us all.
It's gonna be a very dangerous night for us all. But yeah, the whole network is gonna be hanging out at Saratoga Comic Con.
I
It's gonna
like
be
full network nights.
freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the full thing because that goes to the end of the year, all the different things we're doing. But that's the stuff. He's got links if he wants to post them. I don't care.
Those are the things in the immediate future.
Right. Anything going on with Fighting with Friends that's special this week or in the future coming up?
Regularly scheduled programming tomorrow. We're skipping a stream either this week or next week. I can't remember which. I have to figure that out tomorrow. But Kyle and I are going to a screening of a David Lynch movie.
Oh, color me shocked.
So we're skipping the stream because I want to see that.
Fair enough.
So
All right. And then I don't think there's anything else going on.
no defend this week, correct?
No.
No, we didn't do it last week, unfortunately. But
Right.
I think we'll do that next week.
Okay.
Well, fingers crossed. They're a little less structured in regularity.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
But it is always awesome when they're on. I guess that's it.
Should we leave everyone with our words of wisdom?
And what would those words be?
Never shake alien eggs.
I thought it was don't shake alien eggs.
Don't, never.
Because mine's never. Now it feels weird.
I'm sorry.
Don't trust the android. I don't like it.
Don't shake alien eggs.
Never trust the android.